Harry Potter is often celebrated as a story of hope and friendship, but the deeper you go into the fandom, the darker the shadows become. If you spend enough time on Reddit, specifically the subreddits where fans dissect every line of lore, you will eventually stumble upon a theory that stands alone in its depravity. It is widely whispered about as Reddit's most disturbing Harry Potter theory. It doesn't involve secret siblings or hidden prophecies. Instead, it focuses on a single grotesque question. How exactly did Lord Voldemort regain a physical form before his rebirth in the graveyard? J.K. Rowling once admitted in an interview that she revealed the secret of this ritual to her editor, and it reportedly made him want to vomit. It was a process deemed so graphic, so stomach-churning, that it was scrubbed from the final pages of the Goblet of Fire. The theory that Redditors have pieced together to fill that void is known as the Bertha Jorkins fetus theory. It is a descent into body horror that turns a missing Ministry employee into the victim of the most heinous act in wizarding history. Today, we're going to look at the evidence, the dark implications, and why this theory, once read, makes it impossible to ever see the baby Voldemort the same way again. To understand how Reddit arrived at this horrifying conclusion, we have to look at the character often dismissed as a mere plot device, Bertha Jorkins. In the books, Bertha is described as a scatterbrained and nosy Ministry employee who vanished during a vacation in Albania. For most readers, she's just the source of information that led Voldemort to the Triwizard Tournament. But on Reddit, her disappearance is viewed as the catalyst for something much darker. The books tell us that Wormtail found Bertha in a pub, lured her into the woods, and brought her to the weakened spirit of Voldemort. We know Voldemort tortured her for secrets, breaking her mind and body in the process. But here is where the theory takes its first grim turn. Redditors point to the fact that once her usefulness for information was over, Voldemort says, "Her body was finished. I had no more use for her." The theory suggests she wasn't just a prisoner, she was a vessel. The most prevalent version of this theory on Reddit is that Bertha Jorkins was pregnant at the time of her kidnapping. Some even more extreme threads suggest a darker, forced involvement by Wormtail to ensure a host was available. Why a fetus? Because Voldemort, in his spectral form, was essentially a parasite. He had already possessed Quirrell, but that was a temporary, draining arrangement. To gain a rudimentary body of his own, a physical anchor that could survive long enough for a true rebirth, he needed a biological shell that was pure and malleable. According to the theory, he chose the unborn life inside Bertha, possessing it and twisting its growth with dark magic until it became the hairless, scaly creature we see in the graveyard. If you look at the physical description Harry gives in the graveyard, the evidence for this Reddit theory is hauntingly consistent. Harry describes the thing Wormtail is carrying as having the shape of a crouched human child, but adds that no child alive ever had a face like that. It's described as hairless, scaly-looking, and a dark, raw, reddish-black. This matches the appearance of a flayed or premature fetus, an organism forced into the world before its time and corrupted by the presence of a dark, fractured soul. Even the way it's sustained is clinical and disturbing. It wasn't eating food, it was drinking a potion made of unicorn blood, and Nagini's venom every few hours to maintain its frail existence. Redditors often compare this to a dark parody of an umbilical cord, a constant, parasitic feeding required because the body itself was biologically incapable of survival on its own. It's this specific imagery, the helpless, raw creature, that anchors the theory. It wasn't a body created out of thin air by a spell. It was a life that was stolen, occupied, and discarded once its purpose was served. Perhaps the most chilling piece of evidence supporting this Reddit theory doesn't come from the books at all, but from a 2007 interview with J.K. Rowling herself. When asked about the rudimentary body Voldemort used, Rowling revealed that she had written a detailed account of the ritual. She shared it with her editor, and his reaction was one of pure, visceral disgust. He told her it was too much, that it crossed a line even for a story about the world's most evil wizard. Think about the horrors already present in Harry Potter. Soul-sucking dementors, giant man-eating spiders, even the concept of horcruxes which require cold-blooded murder. If those things made the cut, what could possibly be so graphic that it made a professional editor want to vomit? Redditors argue that fetal possession, or the desecration of an unborn child, is the only thing that fits that level of reaction. It's a taboo that transcends fantasy violence. It moves into the realm of body horror. The theory suggests that Bertha didn't just die, she was consumed. Once the fetus had grown enough to hold Voldemort's fractured soul, the host, Bertha, was no longer needed. This gives a sickening new meaning to Voldemort's line. Her body was finished. He wasn't just talking about her mind being broken from torture. He was talking about a biological vessel that had been used up and discarded. This is why it's Reddit's most disturbing theory. It suggests that Voldemort's return to power wasn't just built on blood, but on a crime so stomach-turning it had to be censored from history. If we accept this theory as true, it changes how we view the rest of the series. Look at the final book, The Deathly Hallows, when Harry dies and goes to the limbo version of King's Cross. He sees a small, raw, whimpering creature under a bench. Dumbledore tells him there is no help for it. If that creature is the remains of the rudimentary body, the soul fragment of Voldemort combined with the twisted remains of an unborn life, it makes Harry's ultimate victory feel much heavier. It's not just a battle of good versus evil. It's a battle against a being who is willing to commit the most intimate form of violation just to exist for one more day. It also explains why Voldemort's final true rebirth in the cauldron required the blood of the enemy forcibly taken. He needed to transition from a parasitic, stolen body into a self-sustaining one. He was moving from a stolen life to a reconstructed one. The Bertha Jorkins Theory suggests that the man who stepped out of that cauldron wasn't just a monster. He was a scavenger who had climbed his way back to life over the bodies of the most innocent victims imaginable. Thanks for watching, and stay curious, no matter how dark it gets.